Well, today's episode, we're going to try to catch up with Stardom. Now, as you know, we already began with, of course, the 5-star Grand Prix. However, we need to catch up with the other two events I was unable to review for all of you. The first one, is, of course, is part of a 2-day show for the Northern Tohoku 2 days, and this time was in Hachinote and took place back on July 17th. And then the other one was, of course, in Korakuen Hall on the 24th of July. As you know, this was the last show before the start of the 5-star Grand Prix, but this one featured a double main event. The one features, of course, the uh, the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Bozilla, as you know, made him aim for this belt. So we'll see what happens. Will Azumi's reign be short, or Bozilla, of course, will become the next champion? Well, we'll see. And of course, BMI members of Hate, Natsuko Tora and Raka challenged for the Goddesses of Stardom, the tag team belts, against Star's very own Wingori, Hanan, and Saida. So we'll see how things will progress from there. But also, to an added bonus, there'll be no news updates whatsoever on this episode. So let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, all introductions have been said. I believe it's time to, of course, get this show on the road. So, as I said, there'll be no news updates for today, so let's just focus on Stardom. Stardom. Now this is day two of the Northern Tohoku 2 days, and this time was in Hachinote. The previous one was in another location, but this was a show prior before the conversions that took place on the 21st of July, which of course I already reviewed for all of you. But some of these matches were preview matches before we got there, so I'll explain which ones were as we get to the point. Now, the first match, we have Sayaka Kurara and Natsupoi of the Cosmic Angels taking on Hate's very own Momo Watanabe and Saya Kamitani. Now, this match, in fact, was a preliminary match between both Natsupoi and Saya Kamitani. If you guys remember, it was in the conversion where Natsupoi was the one who was challenging for the red belt, not only just to win it and also try to save Stardom from the dark side of Hate, but also get revenge for Tam Nakano, as you all know, because she was forced to retire. Now, of course, we have seen when it comes to Hate with their usual tactics, try to cheat their way through, and that's exactly what they did. But in the end, it was in fact, of course, Momo Watanabe with the baseball bat on Natsupoi, but it was Sayakami Tani with the Star Crusher onto Natsupoi, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And then, of course, we did see a post-match promo, Kamitani saying some few words to Natsupoi. But as you know, Natsupoi is in for a fight of her life because she knows Kamitani is a person who is determined, of course, to win at any cost. Now, our next match is a three-way. We have Emma Maishima versus Saki Kashima versus Miyu Amasaki. Now, of course, when it comes to every strength, we know certain factors. Emma Maishima, who is in fact a rookie in the entire Stardom, we know that she's the weakest link. Most likely be the one to take the fall. But however, of course, you have to deal with Saki Kashima's shenanigans. Now, of course, you know that she'll try to steer clear of the fight. Let, of course, Maishima and Miyu Amasaki try to fall to ward themselves out when the moment arises for, of course, for Kashima to step in. But however, that did not work in her favor because, in fact, it was Amasaki who picked up the win when she applied a pinfall. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Kiyo Furuzawa. She teams up with, of course, Yuria Him, another rookie, as you know, who is a bit more learning a bit of the experience. They take on the members of God's Eye, more specifically Kiyoka Kotatsu and Rana Yagami. Now, of course, when it comes to watching this match, you all can tell that this was a factor where one of the rookies is going to take the fall. Will it be, of course, Furuzawa or him? I would say it didn't matter because we know they have least experience than both Kotatsu and Yagami. But in the end, of course, it was a submission by Yagami onto Furuzawa, and just like that, it was over. Completely by submission. Furuzawa had no choice but to tap out. Our next match, we have God's Eye members, Lady C and Ami Sori teaming up. They take on FWC, Koguma, and Azuki. Now, of course, you can say on certain factors on this match. You can tell by the looking at this, the FWC has the much better chances due to the fact that these two ladies, as you all know, they known each other from the rookie days. They have been rivals, and not to mention a very good cohesion tag team. Even though they fight in singles competition here and there, but when it comes to tag team, they are the best of what they can do. Now, as for God's Eye, Lady C and Ami Sori, well, we haven't seen much of them, of course, team up that much. We know they're trying to get their footing, but in the end, it was Koguma with the diving body press onto Lady C, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Excuse me. Now, our next match, we have Hate, consistent of Konami, Raka, and Atsukotora taking on the full members of Stars, Momokoko, Saya Ida, and Hanan. Now, as you all know, this was a bit of a preliminary match between between Saya Ida and Hanan against Natsukotora and Raka, better known as BMI 2000. As you all know, BMI 2000 issued the challenge for the tag team belts against Wingori, so that's something you know. But of course, just like the previous first match we had in this event, Hate has brought upon their tactics as always. But of course, like any other way, it was of course Raka with the freezer bomb onto Ida, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, Raka had some words to say to the tag team champions, informing them that they will be taking those belts off of them on the 24th in Korakuen Hall. Now, our next match, we have Mi Vida Loca. We have, of course, Akira Kuragani, Bozilla, and Suzuki taking on EXV, Rion, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama. Now, nothing too special about this match in any way possible. But, of course, factors of this match is Bozilla, who is the much bigger threat. Obvious reasons. She is big, she's strong. I mean, we know there's going to be a bit of a hoss fight between both Hanako and Bozilla, which of course is no surprise. And I have to say, it did pretty well. But however, it was in fact, of course, Rian, who took the fall when Bozilla applied a tombstone, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So Bozilla picked up the win for her team. But there was a post-match promo by Rihanna. I don't know what she said, but we move on from there. Now our main event, we have the Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura, um, Yuna Mizumori, and Sayori Anu. They face against Neo Genesis Mei Sita, Azumi, and Starlight Kid. Of course, we did see recently where there was a match between Sayuri Anu and Starlight Kid for the white belt, so you probably can tell how that is. But nothing too special how we would expect. But of course, we are seeing the Cosmic Angels are trying to get their footing back on track, knowing too well that they no longer have their fearless leader, Tam Nakano, but now they have to move on without her. But it was, of course, Sayuri Ano who picked up the win with the Temps Tundra onto Starlight Kid, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, we did see a post-match promo between Ano towards Starlight Kid, and you probably can guess it was for the white belt. But of course, at the end, it was the Cosmic Angels who closed down the show, and just like that, it was completely over. So let's move on to our last and final review part of our Stardom episode. So let's move on to Stardom Nighter 2025 in Korakuen Hall, July. Okay, as we continue with Stardom, this is the final show before we start the 5-star Grand Prix. This one is part of the Stardom Nighter 2025 in Korakuen, July, and this happened on the 24th of July of this year. Now, we did have a pre-show on this one. It features, of course, Kikyo Furuzawa taking on Aya Sakura. Now, obviously, this match was going to go in favor of Aya Sakura for obvious reasons. One, we know she has a bit more experience than Furuzawa, which, of course, was the main factor. And, of course, she did defeat her, of course, applying a modified triangle lancer, and just like that, of course, Furuzawa had no choice but to tap. And just like that, Sakura picked up the win. Now, we start with our main card here. We have Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Kira Kuragani, Izuki Aoki, Rina Yamashita, and Suzuki, taking on Emma Maishima and the members of EXV. More specific, Rian, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama. Now, the only factors of this one, Bozilla is not involved in this match. She's involved in the match against Azumi, which is our semi-main event, so we'll get to that. But of course, we all know that the interesting factors is Emma Maishima being the weakest link of the group due to the fact that she has the least experience. But however, that wasn't the case because it was Izuki Aoki who picked up the win when she applied a diving body press onto Rian, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Our next match, we have a 3-way tag team match. We have Yuri Him teaming up with Momokogo once again, and they take on God's Eye members Lady C and Saki Kashima versus FWC, Koguma and Azuki. Now, of course, for those who have not been watching a lot, we know that Yuri Him and Momokogo have teamed up to challenge for the New Blood Tag Team belts, which they were unsuccessful. Of course, Yuri Him wants to join Stars, which was something we have been well aware of. But I'm not sure if she's still aiming to join Stars as soon as anything. We know she hasn't produced any good results yet. But we'll see. But factors are in God's Eye, Lady C and Kashima. Well, Kashima, she's not a big fan of Lady C. She's more like, she looks at her as like someone to carry her luggage. And Lady C tries to be friends with her, but it's like, nope, sorry girl, nope, I don't want to be around you. But we know the best cohesion is FWC because they've always been a very, very cohesion team. But of course, Kashima, with her usual shenanigans, she even choked out Lady C. I don't know what the hell she was thinking, but I thought it was pretty funny. She's like she was teaming up with FWC the entire time. But in the end, it was, of course, Koguma with the Kuma roll onto Yuri Ham, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But at the end, but at the post match, we did see Kashima running for her life from Lady C. I think Lady C is still pissed for what she did, but hey, look, I don't blame Kashima. I mean, Kashima, she is who she is, and no one can criticize her. Now, our next match, we have the members of Hate, consisting of Fukigen Death and Azusa Inaba. They take on Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, and Starlight Kid. Now, nothing too special about this, but of course, when it comes to history, we know that there is history between both Starlight Kid and Fukigen Death. They know each other from their times with Stars and, of course, Oedo Tai. But of course, Starlight Kid will have to put that on the back burner of her, knowing too well that those days are over for her. But it was, of course, Starlight Kid with a moonsault onto Fukigen Death, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have God's Eye members consistent of Rana Yagami, Tomoka Inaba, Hina, and Ami Sori taking on Cosmic Angels, Sayaka Kurara, Yuna Mizumori, Sayuri Anu, and Natsupoi. So, of course, we know that this is coming out for both Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi from losing their title matches, but they're willing to move forward no matter what. But the real question, how this was going to play out. We know that everybody in this team are looking forward to push together, knowing too well that things have changed. But in the end, it was, of course, Sayuri Anu who picked up the win when she applied the pottering onto Ami Sori. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, Cosmic Angels picked up the win. Now, our next match, this one's an interesting one. This is for the High Speed Championship in a 2 out of 3 falls. We have from Pro Wrestling Wave, Honoka versus Mei Seira. Now, of course, you have to win 2 falls in order to do so. So the first fall goes to Mei Seira when she applied the Rolling Star onto her. Now, of course, many factors, certain situations we've seen that the opponent, the challenger, would possibly take the second fall, but however, that wasn't the case on this one, because once again, Mei Seira picked up the win when she applied a modified power bomb, whatever she calls it, and just like that, it was over. So she regained the high speed belt. However, during the post-match promo, it appears 2 challengers are now aiming for the high speed belt. One was, of course, Waka Tsukiyama, and the other was Yuna Mizumori. Now, of course, it's no secret with Yuna Mizumori, she has aimed for this belt a few times, and now she's aiming for again, and she's willing to do so. And I'm sure she feels that Tam would want her to continue on no matter what. We've seen Tam has challenged for the white belt and the red belt, which was frustrating, but she knows that she cannot give up no matter what. So we'll see where that goes. Now, our next match is a very special match. We have Miku Kane, Chi-Chi, and Suri taking on Hate, consistent of Konami, Momo Watanabe, and Saya Kamitani. If you guys remember, during Suriism chapter, Suriism, one of Suri's shows, Saya Kamitani and Atsuko Tora faced off against, of course, Suri, and I forgot who was the other opponent, Takumi Iroha. But of course, now Suri is in this match against him. Now, if you guys did not see this match, apparently Suri was booed by the audience because Suri has been facing criticism because she feels that everybody in the Stardom locker room are not, like, mostly like people like Kamitani and everybody in it are not pro wrestlers. And of course, Hate took that like an offense. And of course, we did see how Kane, Chi-Chi, and Suri, they were not going to back down no matter what. And of course, we were going to see some dirty tactics from Hate, as always. But in the end, it was in fact Konami with the triangle lancer, and just like that, it was over. So she applied that on Miku Kane. It was completely over. So, but we will see Suri compete at the 5-Star Grand Prix. As you all know, she is the current IWGP Women's Champion. Now, our next match is for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Azumi makes another defense, and this time she defends it against Bozilla, who targeted her when she first arrived. As you know, you ask yourself, how is Azumi going to put someone down like Bozilla, someone who is a bigger and strong competitor? Now, of course, Azumi has to rely on her speed, not to get caught by her and taken out like a pancake. But Azumi has to rely on using, of course, other techniques in order to do so. Try to use submission techniques or technical techniques, whatever she can, in order to ensure that Bozilla would not try to put her down. And unfortunately, Azumi was able to apply a pinfall onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Azumi retained the championship. And of course, during the post-match promo, you know, Azumi told her that New Japan Strong doesn't mean you're strong. It was something else. But of course, Bozilla thanked Azumi, saying for the best match she's ever been in her life. So we'll see what happens down the road for them. Now for a main event, this is for the Goddesses of Stardom Championship. BMI 2000, consistent of Hate members Raka and Natsuko Tora. They take on Wing Goris, consistent of Star members Saya Ida and Hanan. Now we know that the Hate has both Natsuko Tora and Raka have been aiming for these belts before, and now they feel like this is the only opportunity they can pull it off, because as you know, Hate has in control of the red belt, which is of course showing that they are in control, but they feel like they have to earn more of it, and the only way to do that. However, we did not see no tactics coming from both Natsuko Tora or Raka. We know that they have been a good cohesion team, but in the end, it was in fact a German suplex hold by Raka onto Hanan, and just like that, it was over. We have brand new tag team champions. But I like to say that this was a match, of course, for Raka to get even with Hanan when she defeated her for the future belt about a couple of years ago. But now they are new tag team champions, so we'll see what happens. We know that Hate are determined to control Stardom, but the real question is who's going to be the one to bring them down. Well, we'll see what happens until then. But as for now, we are officially done with everything on this episode. As I mentioned before, we do not have no news updates. So as always, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, for our top priority on the next episode, we're going to focus more now on the G1 Climax with day 11. I think we're going to focus on the A block, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, we got NXT, so we're going to see what's going to happen on there. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to review anything or not. Now, I'm definitely trying to catch up with Stardom. As you know, we are already in day 5 passing for the 5-star Grand Prix, but I may not be able to do so. I'm behind on Mighty Gold and some other Yoshi promotions. I definitely need to catch up. So we'll see how things will progress. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is. The priority is New Japan and NXT. So until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.